Hey y'all. Hey Dr. Keisha. Funnels. Getting my luck. Hey Sherry. Good morning, Lakeisha. Good morning, Ryan. Okay, y'all. I'm getting myself together. Good morning, y'all. Okay, let me take y'all know where I'm at. I'm dropping my son off at work, my grown son, right? So let me get my jacket off. And then Ryan, if you can request to go live, I'm going to look for your request, and then I'll try to add you in a minute. So thank you, y'all. Yesterday was a whirlwind, so y'all know that I had the interview on yesterday. So I've been getting a whole bunch of love messages, text messages, phone calls, not emails, but DMs, and then the comments on social media from Facebook to Instagram. I did just think about I need to post to LinkedIn as well. But if you do not have your tickets to the conference, you want to make sure to grab your tickets to the conference so that you can be in attendance, because there are some great things that are going down. Hey Valerie, how are you? Okay, Ryan, I got your request. Let me introduce Ryan first, y'all, before I bring him on. So Ryan, I met him, I think either last year or the year before. Of course, it was social media. And basically, I met Ryan. It could have been the TSP. I think it's TSP. Where we met in like a Facebook group. And basically, it's small business entrepreneurs, mostly black entrepreneurs that are coming together to build businesses, y'all, right? Because a lot of us, we didn't have the examples to grow up with to show us what we need to do. And so we're kind of like learning from each other. And so that's why it's very important who you attach yourself to, because everybody is not willing to share. Everybody is not willing to be open. And so Ryan is very open, very willing to share. And y'all know, when it comes to my audience, I do not just put anybody before y'all. I do not just accept people money and be like, oh, hey, let me pay you to get in front of your audience. I don't do that, because what happens, and what I hear in these social media streets, is that you will have people that will pay for access and they do not deliver on the work. And so Ryan is not like that. He is coined as the funnel doctor. And so for those of you who don't know what a sales funnel is, from my perspective, in layman terms, and he'll tell y'all from his request, from my perspective, it is where you have this, this funnel, this like this, where you get all of this traffic and all these people at the top. And so it could be maybe like us going live. It can be a link that leads people to like download your ebook or whatever, whether it's for free or whether it's for a purchase. And then you trickle people down so they get an email sequence, and you trickle them down to get the actual sale. And so based on real estate, this is something, y'all, that we typically don't have within our business. So I wanted to bring Ryan on to talk about why we need real estate sales funnel. So let me get him on here so that y'all can start incorporating this for real estate agents. But if any of you know me, you follow my story. Hey Ryan.
Hey, how you doing?
Good morning. Can you hear me okay?
Yeah, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Okay, because my yeah, I hear you okay. My sound is coming through my car, so I just want to make sure. But what I typically did when I started, not when I started real estate, but about 6 years ago, because I was trained in real estate, I was like, well, what are people doing outside of real estate to grow their business? And so I started following people like the Six Figure Chick, Danielle Winningham, all the entrepreneurs on Periscope, so I can learn stuff that was outside of real estate training, so I can bring it back to real estate and say, let me apply this to my business. One of the things that I did learn to do is like create digital products, and then also create sales funnels. So can you tell the people, because you are the funnel doctor, what a funnel is and who you are in your company?
Definitely. And I think you explained it well. I was like, okay, yeah, you definitely know what it is. And, I know you've been successful with funnels yourself. So a funnel is basically your sales process. So you may hear it referred to as like the customer journey or something like that. but it's basically the journey that you take someone through from like being a lead or like I'm interested, I understand what you have going on to actually becoming a paying customer. And there's a system and a process to that. I know when I first got started in business, I didn't think about what I offered as like a system. I knew what I wanted to do was like great product or service. I knew how I wanted to serve, but I didn't think about actually having a sales system. So that's what we do in our agency. I am known as the funnel doctor. We help creative entrepreneurs grow and scale online through sales funnels and paid advertising. And we work with tons of companies, 6-figure companies, 7-figure companies. And we work with a number of real estate agents as well, and people, real estate investors, not just agents. We can talk about specific funnels for real estate and stuff like that as well.
Okay, but y'all, I want to pause right there for a minute. Did y'all see how he is flowing in conversation? He is flowing in conversation because this is what he do. When you do this for real and like in real life, and you have like examples in and out of what it is that you do, and you can just flow off the dome like that, that's because that's what you do. And so, Ryan, can you tell the people? I heard you say that you work with real estate agents and also like real estate investors, I'm sure brokers, for their own brokerage. And then he also, y'all, if you're on here, because I know I have a vast majority of audience as well, if you're on here and you're not in real estate, but you need a sales funnel, he also work with people outside of real estate as well. So I wanted to add that in. But Ryan, you mentioned that like you working with these people within real estate. Can you tell us how do you help real estate agents create sales funnels within their business? Because sometimes real estate agents like we it's foreign language to us to have like a sales funnel. So like how do you help real estate agents create sales funnels within their business?
Great
And
question.
why do they need it?
Yeah, I mean, they definitely need it 100%. And a lot of the funnels that we've done for agents is really for like lead generation.
Mm-hmm.
What agent doesn't need leads? So having some type of funnel that's going to capture leads. Also, a lot of agents that have been successful that we work with are people that think outside the box,
Mm-hmm.
offering some value up front, whether that's an ebook, whether that's just a guide, some type of helpful information, not just always trying to sell immediately. You know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean? That's the easiest way to just turn a lot of people off is like everybody's trying to sell or buy or sell your home, like whatever it is. But how can you offer some value up front? How can you educate them? How can you give them some helpful information? And then it's like, okay, I download that, I consume that, like great. Now when I am ready to buy or sell or whatever, I can contact you and you can have, like you said, some type of automated welcome sequence or, whatever it is. And of course, ads are extremely important. I don't see that many agents really doing Facebook, Instagram ads, or just social media ads in general and retargeting people, especially in the local area. So we work with tons of agents where we built the funnel. We had some type of system where they can capture leads, they can nurture leads, and then definitely having the ads and really good video content, I think is extremely helpful because, like I said, I don't see that many agents. I know you're doing an amazing job in the space, but I don't see
Mm-hmm.
that many agents or even people doing what you're doing to really help agents use social media and funnels to help elevate the business.
No, you right. You right. And that's why we're touching on, and that's why I want to have you on. That's why you're gonna be at the conference because I want to put people in front of the real estate agents that's going to help them to make millions of dollars. And so just like when I had the interview on yesterday, before we actually got on Fox 32, my husband was recording and I watched the recording back of him like us prepping for the interview. And the guy was like, "Yeah, I heard you. You're going to help, talk to the ladies about how to get rich." And so the way that he said it was like it was a joke, like it was funny. I was like, "Yes, we're creating millionaires and billionaires." And I said it just like that. We're creating millionaires and billionaires. And he laughed because I said, and I told my husband as I watched it, I said, like, he was kind of like caught off guard that the way that I responded was like, we're creating millionaires and billionaires. And
Right.
I said it with confidence because it's something that is happening and God is using us to be able to raise up our people to be able to do that. And we're saying it with confidence because we see it. And one of the ways to be able to get there is through what? Marketing, and it's through sales. And with you being in sales, and like you said, that you want to be able to lead your people through value and not just all the time be able to sell them. And
Right.
so, as a real estate agent, you ladies that are on here, you should have some type of freebie that you are leading people to be able to download so they can get to know you. Because sometimes when you start off with a paid product and people don't know you, they may not want to pay right away because they need to get to know you. It's like, that relationship, you need to get to know that person first. And so that's why you start there. So Ryan, I know that can you explain the difference between, because you run Facebook ads too, so can you explain the difference between, because a lot of people, they want to get right to the sale. Oh, I want to run an ad so I can get sales, but it don't necessarily start off that way to where you just get sales. You have to nurture the audience and allow them to be able to get to know you. So can you talk about like nurturing brand awareness ads versus like conversion ads to where that leads to sales?
Definitely. And that's one of the biggest mistakes I see is people trying to put something out there and just immediately trying to sell. And I know, it depends on where you are, you know what I mean? Depend on how big your audience is, how big your list is, how big your community is, but a lot of people that may just be starting out, especially in the social media world, they just immediately want to sell something just to make money. Is like, no, you actually got to build an audience. You actually have to nurture people. You actually have to give some value, and you have to build your list. That's one of the biggest mistakes I see people make, is they don't focus on list building. They just expect people to just buy what you have to offer and, not really understanding the nurturing sequence. So I love what you said about offering value. And, we call that a lead magnet. So like you said, everybody should have a freebie or some type of lead magnet, whatever that is, some type of checklist, PDF, course, book, ebook, whatever it is. And the main thing is, I see some people that just try to put a freebie together just to put a freebie together, but your freebie should lead back to your main offer. You know what I mean? So people will be like, well, should I use this as a freebie? Should I use that? Like, what should my freebie be? And I'm like, what's your main offer? It should be something where it's like, I got this free thing, I got this value. Now it makes sense for me to go to the next thing. That's all a funnel is like going to the next thing. And anytime anyone's out now, like when I'm out, I'm always like taking my phone out and like, they're taking me through a funnel. Like, look at this funnel. Everybody's going through a funnel. So if you don't know what a funnel is, everyone knows what it is. You just don't know it in context. You've been through plenty of funnels, whether you're out eating, whether you're in an airport, whether you're like wherever you're
Bad
at.
clothes,
Yeah.
bad clothes
But
on the
whatever it
Instagram.
is, everybody's always taking you through a funnel, so it's like, hey, thinking about like, okay, how can I apply this to my business? Who is my avatar? What is something that I can give them as like a sample or like an introduction to whatever I do that's going to lead back to them doing business with me. So, like I said, it's so important to just build an audience, build your tribe, build your lift, offer value, because it's all about know, like, and trust. People may want to do business with you, but they don't know you, they don't like you, they don't trust you.
Yeah, that's so good. That's like in your face blunt, but it's so good. Ladies, if y'all have questions for Ryan, go ahead and drop it. So even if you're not in real estate, because I see like clients on here that are not in real estate, just drop it here so you can ask them your questions as it relates to funnels and also Facebook ads. One of the things that I wanted to ask you about is that, well, let me tell them this first. So what Ryan basically described is that if you know that your main offer or the main thing, ladies, that you want to get them to is, say that you want to work with more buyers, or you want to work with more homeowners to sell their property, then if that's the main goal, then you're going to work backwards to come up with a strategy that is going to lead them into the funnel at the top, so you can get a whole bunch of people in. But now you're going to trickle them down so that the end result is that actual transaction of them actually doing business with you and becoming a lifelong client. And so for a lot of you on here, I want to know, do you already have some type of freebie? And when I say some type of freebie, maybe some type of checklist, some type of guide, some type of offer that you give them. And I'm not saying something that's like 10% off or whatever, like, or join my email list and you're not giving them anything, but do you have something that is a freebie that you can give them to opt into your email list? And one of the things that you said, Ryan, was that you need to build your list. So one day, my coach last year told me, he said, Makeda, how many people do you want to add to your email list? And I said, oh, about 10,000. And then he turned to me and he said, why not 100,000? And I was like, oh, well, I didn't think about 100,000.
Right.
And so now my mind is like, okay, how can I get 100,000 people on my email list by the end of the year. Before, I would get a whole bunch of new email addresses when I did like free webinars, and like now I really don't want to do them as much anymore. So like with free webinars, but you just talked about like list building. What are some things that your company do in order to help your clients to build their email list so that they have more email addresses, but not just any email addresses, y'all, email addresses of your ideal client, so that you know what the end goal is, that when they get on your email list, you can move them to whatever that product is. Because Ryan just talked about that. So Ryan, can you talk about how you help the clients to build the email list? Because one thing that I know for sure, ladies, is that you have to be able to get a further reach with your product and get more people in front of what you have to offer in order for you to be able to convert faster. So can you talk about that?
Yeah, definitely. So, what we do is we build out your entire system. So the first thing is like, what is the actual lead magnet offer? And I love what you said. Like, it's not just about joining your newsletter. It's not just about 10% off. It's like something that's enticing. You know what I mean? Even though it's free, it still should be like good, or what we call irresistible. So, we develop what your offer is, and then we actually build the system. So I know some people ask like, what platform should I use? And we can talk about that, but you need an actual page to drive people to. So like a landing page, and also you really need good copy. When it comes to speaking to your avatar and getting the right people, like you got to have your messaging on point. You got to know who your avatar is. So having good sales copy that converts, like we do all that. So we do the copy, we do the pages, we do the actual email sequences, we do the nurturing, like we do all that. And then once you have your funnel built, you know your offer, you know the pain points, you know what you're going to give people, you have your back end system and automation set up. Then it's about getting the traffic. Because you can have a great funnel, you can have a great offer, you can have great copy, but if you don't have enough eyeballs on it, it won't matter. So then we actually do the actual ad, we do the traffic, we do the strategy to drive people to it. So then you can actually convert them. And then in a lot of funnels we actually do like a little upsell or something like that. When we do a free thing, I always like to upsell people immediately, because there are always going to be people that, want to buy immediately, whether that's $7, whether it's $27, something low cost or low ticket. I want to try to qualify buyers immediately, because those that don't want to spend anything with you, won't even spend $7, generally won't spend more later on. So we want to separate those people immediately and then speak more to the buyers, but it's still free and everything on the front end. But I like putting a little offer, a little upsell in there just to see if people will take it.
Did y'all hear that? Did y'all hear those bars that he just dropped? Because that strategy right there, he just gave y'all free strategy right there with making sure that you have a little something, even if it's not a high price, product or whatever. Even if you have a high price product, you can start with something low to see whether or not they buy. So for an example, Ryan talked about how we go through sales funnel all the time. Now, I was a bad creature of this all last year. I'm better this year, talking to my CFO, but I was buying everything. Like, I would see stuff, and it would be like, this tiny offer of $27. And so I would click it. I would buy the $27 offer, and then it would upsell me into something that was $197. I'm buying it, and then it's another offer, right? And by the next thing I know, I done spent like $500. I'm like, I gotta get it.
Right.
So So they took me through this funnel, and I'm sitting here buying. And some of this stuff, y'all, to be honest, I haven't even looked at all the stuff that I done bought over the years, but the advertising was good. And so, like Ryan said, that if they not gonna spend $7 with you, they definitely not gonna spend 100. So why not see whether or not they're gonna spend at the low range? This person that asked about like what's the best site to use, I don't know if there's a bad site to use, because I feel like it all ties into like what is the overall funnel looking like. Is that true?
That's definitely true. 100%. I always say that, like, what is the overall process and your funnel and your business and your offer, and then get a platform that does best for you. Me
Okay.
personally, like, I like ClickFunnels, but ClickFunnels is not for everyone. For those that we work with that are e-com or product based, they usually use Shopify or like Zipify pages or something like that. And there's tons of like other platforms. The main thing is really understanding what your process is, because I see people get too caught up in that, and then like you end up spending like all these monthly memberships on like 5 different platforms when you really don't even need all that. So just really be clear on what your process is, and then, find a platform that works for you, because pretty much they're mostly all very similar.
You know what? My team was telling me we use Moonclerk, and they were saying how you can't track the analytics. Now Moonclerk needs to be ashamed of this, but you can't track the analytics on Moonclerk like you can on some of these other platforms like a Samcar or like a ClickFunnels. So can you explain, like sometimes you tell clients like, okay, this may not be the best system because we can't track anything.
Yeah, that is a really good point. That's another reason why I do like ClickFunnels. Yeah, you want to be able to track like all your metrics for like whatever you're doing. So from your landing page, you want to be able to track how many people visited, how many people opt in, how many people bought, how many people took your upsell, and then of course like your back end numbers, depending on, like, ClickFunnels is great, but it's not a CRM. So you want to have a great CRM to really like understanding like your customers and like how often they buy from you, how much they buy from you, how often do they come and shop again. So like, what's your average order value? What's your customer lifetime value? If you have a monthly membership, how long on average do people stay? What are your churn numbers? How often do people drop off? How much do they spend? Like, you want to be able to analyze all that, because all customers aren't the same. So, if you ever heard of like the Pareto principle, like the 80-20 rule, generally 20% customers make up 80% of your revenue, but you need to know who that 20% are. So if you just, I'm making money, we making revenue, but you don't really know what customers spend more, then you're doing your business a disservice, because those that spend more, you want to keep offering them stuff. You want to give them certain incentives. You want them to kind of spend more, but you won't know that if you don't have a good platform to track your analytics.
That's so good, because now you then gave me something I just thought about in my head. Was like, wait a minute, we do have our ladies that spend more, and we know who those spenders are. So why not do more for them, offer them more, and even like give them incentive on, like, discounts on certain things. And so like I can segment that list. And
Right,
so this
exactly.
is my intern. Okay, so Sonia Decadent Flavor, she has a food truck business in and around Chicago, and she said that I guess she doesn't do well with Facebook ads. But Sonia, that's not your expertise, so you need to give it to an expert to do. So what she said is that, how do you target the right audience, and please give advice for beginners.
Yeah, that's really easy once you know who your audience is. So once you know who the audience is, like with Facebook, especially with a food truck or something local, like you can target just based on your area. You know what I mean? Like whatever city it is, or like zip codes, you can do up to like a 50-mile radius of that. So that would actually be pretty easy. But then, just depending on who your avatar is, like demographically, men, women, socioeconomic status, are they married, are they not, income ranges, are they college educated, like all that stuff. Once you know like who the avatar is outside of advertising, once you know that, you can literally plug in almost all that stuff within Facebook. They're making a lot of different changes and regulations and stuff, so it's not as easy. But at the same time, once you know who your avatar is, you can plug all that stuff in the Ads Manager.
Okay, and then Sonia, I'm going through the questions. So Sonia, you said that you have a freebie for your food truck university on how to get started in the business, or how to get your business incorporated. You don't feel like that freebie necessarily leads back to your main offer, which is your food truck course. But if you're teaching people how to get into a food truck business, then why doesn't your freebie that helps them to get their business incorporated lead back to your main offer? Because to me, it sounds like that ties together. And maybe you may not think that it ties together because you may not understand like the full funnel process to it. And she's asking, Ryan, what do you feel a good freebie would be if you
For
yes.
that, so the main offer, what's the main offer? Basically like a core, is the main
Yeah,
offer like,
it's a course to teach people how to get into the food truck business, because it's what she does. So of course, when you do what you do, people are attracted to that, and they ask you like, how did you get started? What do I need to do? How do I get my food truck? How do I get funding? And so she's creating a course for that. And then one of her freebie is talking about like 10 things that they need in order to like get started.
yeah, that's good. I would probably do a webinar. I think that would be good, because, and freebie is great, of course, but depending on how the nurture sequence is or the sales cycle, like people may drop off. Like I could see that,
Mm-hmm.
but I would do like a really, really good webinar to like really showcase like the business, what you do, how you make money, like everything. By the time they're done the presentation, like they're blown away. Like I got to get into this program. And that's a great way also to build your list, is get people to sign up for the webinar because they got to get the information to sign up. So I will probably try that and see how that works.
Okay, and I have to ask you this, because when I work with my clients, I typically give them like three different ways in order to get people back to the main product. Because you have people like me that I ain't taking no course. I might buy the course, but I'm not taking it. I'm
Right.
not gonna
Me
complete
neither.
it.
I'm not either. I'm a done for
Right.
you.
But I'll get on the free webinar in real time, or I'll attend an event. So sometimes I'll say, like, but I will read an ebook. Like, give me the ebook, I'll skim through it. And so, like, you'll have that person, and I'll tell them, okay, let's do an ebook here, and maybe let's have a challenge here, and then let's have a free webinar here. So, when you work with your clients, do you give them like multiple ways for people to get to that main product? Because everybody doesn't learn or enter your funnel the same way.
We do, and all
Okay.
that really relates to the avatar, you know,
Okay. Yep.
because people like us, you know, like if I'm your avatar, like I don't want a course. I'm a done for you type of person. So I got to
Yeah.
understand, like if I'm talking to done for you people, what's a great freebie or funnel, you know, that's going to lead to that, you know, for
Mm-hmm.
people that are more done with you, where it's like a course or some type of coaching program or something like that, they may enter in the funnel differently. So that's kind of how we speak to that. You know what I mean? And of course, end of the day, you still want to test a whole bunch of stuff. So anything I'm saying today or you saying today, like everyone still has to go out and test. You got to see what works. You got to see what doesn't work. You got to try different things. And that's really the best answer, is like really going out and seeing, getting data behind it. But definitely just understanding like who you're trying to go after, like at the very bottom of the funnel and the main person. And then everything we do leads back to that.
Yep, that's that. I mean, basically, y'all, that's it. That's why the experts in marketing have to be the experts in marketing, and let them do their job. Because, like, we as CEOs, sometimes we do have to do the job of marketing until we can afford to hire somebody else in marketing. But when you can, let it go, because that's not your zone of genius, and you want to pay people that specialize and that's all that they do. You want to pay them to do that job. So, Valerie, you asked about, like, if you wanted to get listings, what are some type of freebies that you can create? And so, as an agent, you can create like a free checklist for sellers, not for buyers. So when you think about what you may have on the list as a freebie for a buyer, what's the opposite thing that you can create for a seller? So, like, if you have a buyer's guide, then you have a seller's guide. You have a buyer's checklist, then you have a seller's checklist. And then maybe something about how your home in 90 days or less, or 60 days or less, or 30 days and less, or even in 2 weeks in, in some markets. And then there are other ads that you can do, that can talk about like the price range of this home, or that that properties are selling in 14 days in this particular area. Learn more here. What's my home worth type of ads as well, as it relates to sellers. A lot of times us as agents, we overthink what it is that we can offer. And again, this is why you hire somebody else to help you to be able to come up with it if you can. But in the beginning, we have to think about what is the frequently asked questions. And Brian, I don't know if your brain works like this too, but what is the frequently asked questions that you get from sellers all the time, that you can now turn that into an answer in some type of freebie, or in some type of ad that's going to make them want to learn or buy more. So what
Mm.
are the problems of your ideal targeted audience, so that you can create that for them, because you are the solution. Brian,
Mm.
you want to add anything?
Yeah, definitely, because that really comes back to objections. That selling is all about overcoming objections. So whatever objections someone have, or like the questions that people get, you want to always be able to relay that, like you said, in your freebie, when you're having a conversation, whatever it is. It could be on your sales page and you go over FAQs or whatever. You definitely want to speak to that. So definitely take note of that. Anytime someone asks you a question or what the problem is, whatever it is, you definitely want to do that, because I know a lot of people, when it comes to selling, and I'll be speaking to people like, well, when it comes to selling, I don't want to get sleazy, or I always cram up during that part. And I'm like, it's not selling, it's solving a problem. So if you can clearly communicate how you solve the problem, and if you truly believe in what you offer, you have a moral obligation to sell it. So, that's how I look at everything. It's like when people come to us, like, we're not selling, we're solving a major problem. I don't know how to do Facebook ads. I don't know how to do funnels. I don't know how to do stuff online. That's a major problem in the marketplace. And we solve that problem with the solution in our agency.
Yeah, because look at all these questions we get. Okay, so we have, can you define avatar for business? So what does an avatar mean?
That is your ideal customer. So some people give the customer a name, like I'm targeting a Jane, or like they give them this fictitious name, but it really is like your ideal person. Who is the ideal person? Demographically, psychographically, meaning like how do they feel when they encounter your business? But it's really just about like understanding who your ideal person is. And, a lot of people when they're starting out may not know that. So you have to figure that out. You have to see who that is. Like, we know our avatar to the T, but really just knowing like who's the ideal person that can benefit the most from what you do.
Yep. And then I, just to give a quick example about that, I remember being on CC, the Six Figure Chick webinar, and she was going over like ConvertKit. And so she was like, Makeda, can I use you as an example? I was like, sure. And so when she pulled up my name in her ConvertKit, I had bought like tons of digital products from her. I attended this webinar, that webinar, this masterclass. I was in her group coaching program. So when the people were looking at like all the stuff that she had me in ConvertKit having purchased from her, somebody typed in the comments, they was like, wow, Makeda is your ideal client. Like, she's your ideal customer because she has purchased over and over and over and over. But at one point, the purchases had slowed down because I had got to a point to where I had learned everything that I had learned, and it's sometimes the mentee will surpass the mentor. And for a lot of you, even like with the people that you're looking up to as a mentor, my reason for always educating myself, taking classes, and just empowering myself even more is because I don't want to be to where the people that I currently serve, it's not that I don't want them to surpass me, because I want all y'all to surpass me. But I want to always make sure that I am of value to you. So I'm always taking classes. I'm always learning. I'm always looking at what the billionaires are doing so I can come back and bring that to you so that you can continue to excel within business. And so, Ryan, for you, when it comes to like your clients, there are a lot of people that work with lots of sales funnel people, right? So what sets your business apart from all of those other sales funnel companies in the market?
I think me, like not even,
Bingo.
yeah, not even to be like cocky or like I'm really humble, but I just think, it's a few things, especially like in the agency world, like there's tons of like people that do bad business, and like it's like really crazy. So like I'm big on like how we run our company. So it's like communication, like number one, like the way we onboard you. Of course, I definitely take pride in my education and trying to learn everything. And I'm at tons of conferences and learning from people and coaches and masterminds. And like, I'm always sharpening my craft and trying to have
Yep.
like best marketing eye. Another thing as well that I see with a lot of agencies don't actually run ads and do funnels for their own business. So that's another thing that I pride people on is like, we don't just help you with your ads and your funnels. Like, I got skin in the game. I spend a lot of money every month
I
on
seen your
marketing.
ad.
Right. So
You was outside somewhere, like looking at your phone. You was in some shorts or something. I said, "Oh, this is right. This is cool." So I seen your ad.
right, exactly. So that's another thing that we pride ourselves on is like we don't just help people. We got skin in the game because there's a lot of other agencies that like they'll help you with your stuff, but they don't actually got skin in the game and they don't spend money on their own ads. So that's another thing that helps us as well.
I think your answer was perfect because I said the same thing about myself. What sets savvy chicks in real estate apart? Me. Like me. Like, we're that most valuable player within our business as a CEO. We started it for a reason. We know it from the beginning. And the people that we brought on, like, nobody's going to be able to do what we do the way that we do it, the way that our mind and our brain works. And so my sister is on here, and she said that she doesn't understand. She's still struggling with her avatar and how to create one and how it works relates to her market. So the way that I would say that you come up with who your ideal targeted audience, just like that example that I gave of Cece, you look to see who is that person that stands out to you in your audience that's always buying, always listening, always tuning in, always commenting, always doing this. Who is that person? And now maybe you look to see whether or not you want more clients like this person. And now you begin to build an avatar around her or him. And then, like, what is their age, what are some of the hobbies that they have, what are some of the behaviors that they have, and then you begin to create this list of who this person is. Does it take them a while to make a decision? I'm the type of person that I don't want to hear a long sales pitch. Don't talk to me for an hour about whatever the sales. Give me all of the bullet points and let me make a conscious decision on whether or not I feel like whatever the fee is worth what you're telling me I'm going to get. If you put 3-tier package in front of me and say, okay, for $50 you get this, 100 you get this, and 150 you get this, I'm probably going to be your typical VIP client that will buy the 3rd-tier package because, as Ryan said, I want a done-for-you type of service. Now, like Sonia would say, don't let me give you my money and you play with my money and I give you thousands of dollars. And so if you give somebody money or somebody gives you money and they work with you, don't play with the fact that they trusted you in the marketplace and they trusted you to be different than all of these other companies out here. And so I'm going to lead to, let me make sure I don't have any questions. Scroll to the bottom. Okay, same attention span short. Okay, Sherry said her attention span is short. Y'all, true story. When I'm in a room with my husband and I tell him all the time when we go places, I said when people are selling to us, I check out when you with me because I know you listening, but I'm not listening. Like I'm over it. So I know he's going to make a decision. And so for you ladies that have like a short attention span like me, you want people to get right to the point, and that's why I try to get right to the point as well. Ivana said, "Don't play with my trust or her money," right? And so Ryan is going to be at the conference, y'all, and I wanted to have him on because first of all, I need to be going live talking to y'all about y'all business to help you to grow because the guy thought it was a joke yesterday that we're creating these millionaires and billionaires, but it's true. So I have him on the conference, and he's a sponsor and he's also a vendor. And y'all, let me say this: Ryan was the first sponsor. Oh, outside of Rosina, Rosina was sponsor every year, but outside of Rosina, he was the first sponsor who did not hesitate about the prices that was on the sponsorship package. And when you pour into my business, I pour right back into your business. And so y'all gonna be seeing Ryan, right? Because Ryan invested into the conference that you ladies are going to be coming into, and he's also going to be a vendor, so he has a table, and so you will see the funnel doctor name everywhere. And y'all, he helped me to also build the Savvy Chicks in Real Estate membership funnel as well, so that I can get more people into my membership program. And so for you ladies, if you need somebody to help you to build out your sales funnel because it is not your zone of genius and you have the funding to be able to do so, make sure you reach out to Ryan because he has a particular package and discount that he is giving to people that are involved with our conference, Savvy Chicks in Real Estate, Licensed and Unbothered. So he will be at the conference in person. You'll be able to talk to him. But even before then, if you have your tickets to the event, we have an app. The app right now is live. And so you can go into our app. You can click on the sponsorship tab and you will see Ryan's information along with the link that he has for you to be able to get started working with him now 2 months before the conference, because I want my sponsors, my vendors, to feel like we are partners as we go and we lead into Licensed and Unbothered. And I think that it's very important to put them in front of you now, so that we're not waiting until June for you to get your business together. So if you feel like you need, like he gave a lot of great information, you feel like you need this work now, then go ahead and do that. Yes, looking forward to sign me up, coach. Thank you so much, girl. So, Ryan, did you want to leave anybody with any? Thank you. What? Oh, June 10th through the 12th is the License and Unbothered Conference. It's going to be downtown Chicago at the Swiss Hotel. Tickets are $6.97 per person, and it is Friday night. Doors, not doors. We check in at 6. Doors open at 7. It's over at 11. The next morning is all day training from 9 to 4:30. And then that night is a separate event, which is going to be the yacht extravaganza that we're going to have on Lake Michigan. And then the next day is going to be our business day brunch from 11 to 3 p.m. And so the conference is a total of 3 days. And y'all, I see what people charge for conferences. And I'm just going to say today's price is not going to be tomorrow's price. But while it is $6.97, make sure that you grab those tickets. We have Chrisette Michelle. We have celebrity makeup artist Ashunta that's going to be with us. We got a private money lender. We got Davon Reeves, y'all, who opened our eyes to owning a hotel. Last year, she started with 1. Now that girl got 3 hotels. And so we have her back to talk about that. I have Brandy, who owns like 15 properties. She just bought an Airbnb that she's rehabbing in Puerto Rico. So these ladies are on fire, and I want you to be able to see, feel, touch them, and see these living examples of how you can create this 7-figure, 8-figure, 10-figure income within your own business. And there's no reason, y'all, it's no excuses for us not to be able to come up in this day and age and break open the windows for our families and the barriers that have gone on for centuries and generations for us to have what we want. Ryan, did you have closing words? I didn't mean to go off on a tangent.
Yeah, nah, you good. Listen, anytime you speaking, I'll shut up. You know what I mean? For real though. But yeah, I'm definitely excited about the conference. Interesting enough, this will be my first time to Chicago. I ain't never been to Chicago.
What?
I know, right? I'd be everywhere.
Love it. You're going
Right.
to love
I
it.
know.
You're downtown, right over the water. We got the Green River. We got Lake Michigan. You're going to see Navy Pier from your window. You're going to love it.
Yeah, great. So I'm definitely excited to go to the conference. But yeah, I mean, I like what you said about definitely just if you need help with your funnel, like you need to jump on this now. Like, don't wait, because if you wait till like June, the middle of June, like we damn near almost in third quarter by then. So you definitely don't want to wait. So, if you want to take advantage of that, the link, I know it's in the app and stuff like that. But yeah, definitely come out to the conference. I'm excited to go to the conference, not just to be a sponsor and a vendor, but just to attend and, meet some of the people, I know the I don't think I know who Krista Michelle is. Of course, I want to meet her, but I'm definitely just want to be there and just soak up gems and take notes and meet people and connect with everyone. But definitely just take advantage of this offer and investing in your marketing, your funnel, and your ads, because that's what's going to separate you from the marketplace. You got to have enough people seeing your stuff. You need to have a good sales system. You got to have a nurturing and automated sequence. Like you got to have these principles. The biggest companies in the world, they do this. So there's no reason why you shouldn't be doing it as well.
Amen. I'm just going to end it with amen. Now, y'all, I got to go jump on a team meeting.
Me too.
So, yeah, full day ahead, 10 o'clock meeting. So y'all have a blessed and wonderful rest of the week. Y'all have a beautiful day. It's sunny outside here in Chicago. So y'all go and kill it. And I'll talk to y'all tomorrow at 9 a.m. If they may just be me on tomorrow, but I'll see y'all tomorrow morning. All right. Thank you so much, Ryan.
Yeah, thank you.